Welcome to another episode of Live with Jill and Frank. My name is Jill. I'm a psychic medium.
And my name is Frank, and I'm a mystic and coach. And yeah,
And
take it away.
how are you today, Frank?
Doing good, doing good. I mean, it's been a crazy week as always. It's just been the theme the last little while. So, but that's okay, right? It's all cycles, right? It's all like you get a part of the cycle where everything's going crazy, and then you get the next part where everything is going a little bit better. And
Hmm.
so, right now is that crazy part, and so we're kind of getting through it. It's a little bit like downhill skiing, right?
Yes, a little bit. So, how you doing over there with the fires going on? Hearing that you having a lot of.
um, well, where I am, I mean, we did reach. I didn't even know. Like, what was it? 2 days ago? No, yesterday we had record. Like, we were the one place in the world that had the worst air quality. So it was pretty bad. Although I don't know, it didn't seem that horrible. Well, I know it did. I had to walk to this. Well, I didn't have to, but I walked to the store at some point, and I could literally feel it. Like by the time I got in the store, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was pretty bad.
So is that thick, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You could smell it too. You could smell the
But
fire.
you're in a safe area.
Yeah, yeah. We're not. I'm not anywhere near. It's just it's the smoke that comes in. Uh, so I mean, as long as you're in a air filtered building or whatever, you're okay.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
if you're just now joining us, please interact with us in the comments, like, and share the live. Um, we're live every week on Thursday at about 7:15 Central Standard Time. We like to say we start at 7, but I'm always late. I just can't help it. The more I try to be on time, the more I show up late. So we're just gonna say 7:15 and hope I don't come at 7:30.
No, we're gonna say 7, and we're gonna keep
And
going like we've
yeah.
been going so far. um, so okay, tonight we're setting up for an argument. It seems. Jill was telling me. Uh,
Yeah, we were discussing topics and we started to argue before we came on. And he's like, "Whoa, let's just go live and do this on live." And I'm like, "I thought we wasn't going to argue on live."
well, no, it's not even arguing. I wasn't arguing, but it's just like that's a good topic. So I was like, why were we discussing it before we go live?
Okay, so
But anyways, the one topic we were wanting to talk about was disciplines and practices in spirituality. Uh, no, I'm not even sure why you were saying it was going to be an argument. So I guess
well,
I'll let you lead with what you
I
think
guess
about
not
this.
not necessarily an argument with us, maybe. I don't know. But to me, with disciplines, I think we're looking at the phrase in different ways. You're looking at it as beginning a ritual and manifesting things. You're looking at it that way. I'm looking at it on the other side as in religion and brainwashing and like I'm looking at it from that view. So not I don't think that we really disagree on the topic. I think that the way it was phrased, we would disagree on.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot to unwrap. That
For
is
you?
a lot. No, no, no. Um. Okay. So see, for me, discipline is just the regardless what it is. I mean, it can be making your bed in the morning, right? Like
Mhm.
having the discipline to make your bed every morning, right? And so when I apply it to spirituality, all I see is it's important to stick with it, to do like whatever you're doing. If you're doing meditation, try to do it every day. If you're doing like, try to be disciplined about it. Try to, and not only that, but having discipline in your life is also a tool in itself, because now as you it's like any other skill, you develop discipline, right? So the more discipline you learn to have in different areas, the more discipline you're going to be able to apply in new areas that you meet, right? Regardless if it's, see, religions are basically, if I don't want to say a perversion of, but almost, like they're what has become of something really good. So there's no, at the base they're all saying the same things, right? And so the discipline is not there, wasn't there to indoctrinate people at first. It was there because through discipline we learn to better control ourselves, better control our mind, better control our emotions, right?
Hmm.
Became something else, and I'm not sure exactly how, but it sort of evolved. Definitely the second millennium, in the year like 1000 to 2000 somewhere,
Hmm.
things took a weird turn. uh, but I mean, yeah, because we started having religious wars and crazy weird stuff. But at originally, I mean, they're all talking the same stuff as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure
Well,
all disagree with me.
your microphone kind of went out a little bit on that last part.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me change my wire. It's because of the wire I have.
So for me, I think that like I kind of disagree in a way because I think for in my opinion anyway, and with my development and my growth with spirituality, I've learned that I just got to keep researching different things and keep looking into different things. And the more I know about each thing, the more I grow. I don't necessarily look at it as I have to perform this specific ritual every day or say this specific prayer every day. Or, like it's more of a research type thing for me. And that's what keeps my spirituality growing is the research and gaining more knowledge,
Okay.
reasonating with more things.
Okay. So, how many of those books that you've read, though, mention discipline?
I don't read books that often. I just write them.
Okay. But I mean, you're saying like I research. Okay. So,
Yeah,
how many
most of
of,
my research is like through classes or YouTube is a great place to do research or just Google search
okay. Don't most of them mention discipline at one point or another?
for a period of time, maybe. Um, like in the circle, we practice meditation, yeah, and we do that every week. But to say that I meditate every day on my own, no, I do not.
But it's not a, we're not doing an inquisition into, what, like whether Jill is following a daily practice. Well, what I'm trying to get at is that almost any book on spirituality, well, not any, but a lot of books you're going to open, they're going to
Okay.
say in your spiritual life you need to have discipline. Now there's a reason they all mention it, isn't it?
To me, reciting prayers over and over, the same prayers over and over, is not something that I resonate with.
Okay.
If it helps somebody else, that would be some
Okay.
sort of
I think we're going to take it back to the dictionary, because I don't know why you keep on bringing discipline to Christianity, where I don't like, it's
because
not a,
that's where I resonate with it at.
yeah, I know, but it's a word that
And
means
you
doing
resonate.
bed in the morning. No, there's
Say
a
that again.
definition. Doing your bed in the morning, that's
Hmm.
discipline.
That has nothing to do with spirituality.
Yes, it does. Oh God, yeah, it does.
Not for me, because I feel like I'm very spiritual and I don't make
So
my
you
bed
think,
every
so then
day.
what you're saying is discipline has no role in spiritual life.
It depends on the person.
Okay, but I'm asking
For
about you.
everybody's different.
I'm asking
For
about
me,
you.
to an extent,
Okay, to what extent?
it
That's
depends on the situation, the day, and my mood.
Okay, but we're trying to find out here. Like, I don't
Like, I
know. What
can't
about
tell you
today?
because it can change.
So what about today then?
Today's been very, very busy. So I'll say that I practice like positive speaking and things like that. That has a big part of my is a big part of my spirituality because I used to rough talk a lot more.
Okay.
So even though I get like overwhelmed or very busy, I'll just of course I'll lose my job if I don't practice it too. But I'll practice, just staying positive. But on a regular day, yeah, when I'm doing like research and I'm watching videos or I'm in a class or teaching a class or in circle, um, it's kind of a ritualistic type set, like I guess you could
Well,
say.
here's another
So that's why it
question then.
changes.
Here's another question then. You say like you assign discipline like to Christianity. What if I took circle, right?
Not
Like,
just
and
Christianity, many religions and
no, but I mean
many
take it out of
different
religion.
things.
What about circle? You know,
Um,
you had a circle where
yeah,
you said
definitely.
people had to show up at circle. They
Yeah,
had to be
we
there. It
we
was
had a closed circle. It was very disciplined.
so yes.
Um, that's what I'm saying. It's not a everyday practice. It's not a constant thing. It's sometimes, but I don't feel the need to grow my spirituality on discipline by like reciting prayers or
No,
doing
but I don't know
specific
why you're
things
bringing the prayers into it. I have no idea what they have to do with discipline.
because a lot of people feel like that has to do with discipline for religion. Like they discipline their religion with if you don't
Okay,
do
let's go to the dictionary.
this or that.
Let's make sure we mean the same thing when we talk about discipline. Oh, okay, I see. I see where we're coming from a different place. It's because I'm looking at it from a self discipline, and you're looking at it from, because it says here the practice of training people to obey rules and the code of behavior. That's to discipline others.
Hmm.
Yes, in that respect, no discipline. Yeah, that has no place in anywhere. Like basically, parenting is about as far as it goes. Like, and even there, some people are going way overboard and whatever, and some people are not. But yeah, no, I didn't mean that way. I meant discipline. Like, I discipline myself that every morning I'm gonna make my pardon me, I'm going to make my bed. I may choose to meditate
And
for
I
10
don't.
minutes a day, right? I may
And
choose
I might.
to well, no, but that's what I'm saying, right? But but the question is a general question. It's not a does Jill, we're not trying to do an inquisition. Jill, did you meditate this morning? Did you spend more than 15 minutes? Was it good? Well,
No,
then
but
go back to
it's
it.
hard to give
That's
an
not what we're
answer.
doing.
It's hard
We're
to give an
asking.
answer when I do things up and down, and it's not always the same. It's not on a routine. For instance, like some people go to work from a certain time to a certain time. I might work 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there. I might not work here,
That
and
requires
like
discipline.
everything's different.
Yeah, but that requires discipline as well.
I guess in a
You
way,
have to be disciplined. You have to
you have to
not
be there.
decide to just leave and do whatever the hell you want, right? Like that's what I mean. Self discipline is something that is really important in spiritual life. Like because see, you say I research stuff. Well, okay, but there's a discipline in that.
Don't.
You go, you know what? Like I haven't looked at stuff for a while. I need to learn more. You teach others, so you want to learn, so you can bring back to others as well, right? Like it's just. But I see where you're coming from because I see this. Like, yeah, the practice of training people to obey rules. Yeah, that is wrong. And yes, the religions have done that. So definitely that's from that aspect. I'm not fond of it either. I'm not fond of rules. Period. But
Okay, so moving on.
yeah, all right.
Let's
So
see. We have a couple people in here. Drop us some emojis, something in the comments, guys. It helps that I'm not saying the word. You can say the word.
So finding purpose. How about that? I don't know. Or
How long does it take to find purpose?
how long does it take to find purpose?
How long is it? Oh, how long is too long to find purpose?
Well, see, there's I have a theory that we know, like, our, the big purpose, whatever, like our purpose, in a, what I mean, in that sense. I think we know when we're born, almost, like we know intuitively from really really young, and then everybody starts telling us that that's bullcrap, and then we believe it, and then we have to get to a different point in our life where we go, okay, all that crap that was layered on top of what I'm supposed to be, I have to remove it, and now I have to go back to what it is I was supposed to be that entire time. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's a catch 22 with parenting. You know what I mean? Like, we want to raise our kids, but we, at the same time, we kind of wreck them. uh, but it's something that's been done generation after generation, so we don't do it on purpose. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit where I'm at on that one.
Yeah, and I think generation to generation, for the most part, it gets a little better as generations grow.
Well, right now it seems to be, yeah. It's hard to, that's something I'm realizing. It's hard to tell, really, when we start looking beyond 100 years, 150, 200 years. Everything gets like really blurry. I mean, let's face it, we have a few hundred names. You know what I mean? Like, we have, oh, they did things this way. They did, and if you look at all the disinformation and whatever that's going on in the present, like, what the heck has happened with our history, right? Like, I mean, how long have our history books been? Are they accurate still? You think?
Huh. I don't
You
think.
know.
I don't even think they have the same amount of states as they did when
Mhm.
I was in social studies. Like, I don't even know. Like, they keep changing their mind on everything.
It's yeah. Well, you guys, I don't know. There, I think there's a problem with your education system, though. Like, there's something going on there. It's it's troublesome.
Yeah. Let's not get us kicked off the screen.
But yeah. All right. Okay. So, but people always come with that question, though. Seriously. Like, they're always coming at, like, going, how do I know what my purpose is? And that's literally, like, the truth is, we already know. Like, it's not a meme. It's not a, a little thing that people say when they say it's already inside.
Hmm.
Like, it is. It already is inside. And once you remove all the garbage that's on top, all of a sudden it comes back out and you go, oh crap, I remember thinking that's what I was supposed to do. And it's like, and if you ask anybody that, believes they're serving their purpose at this point, usually that's, they'll have some version of that in some way. You know what I mean? They'll be like, yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of. So, for me, that's kind of how it, that's how it comes. You don't discover your meaning, you rediscover your meaning, you allow it to resurface. You know what I mean? That might be a more accurate.
Yeah. I wish I would have known a lot of that at a younger age. I think it would have
We're
affected
not
the way
ready.
I parented tremendously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a reason why we have to do things and go through things, but it's just now that you look back on it, it's like, oh, damn, wish I'd have known that a long time ago.
Yeah, but see, that's the funny part. Now I look at younger kids and I go, oh crap. It's been like that for the whole history of humanity.
Mhm.
We're in our 20s, we're dumb, we're stupid, we're running around, we're making crazy decisions, and yet we're the ones changing the world in huge ways. And then there's the older people going, "Oh yeah, uh-huh, I remember. Yeah, yeah." Right? And we're discovering that like the whole time it didn't really matter. And not only that, but they think they're reinventing the world, and so did we.
Mhm.
And none of us were. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, wow. And so you kind of see all of the older you
Somebody
get, the more
reinvented
you
something
see.
somewhere along the way in the last few years.
Well, but it keeps on changing, but it keeps on being the same in some way. You know what I mean? We're just kind of constantly going through, but right now it's happening fast, though. That's the difference. That is a huge thing. And I don't know. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know what to think of it. Like I think it's either gonna, be the birth of something amazing or the death of something. It's That's where we're at. Like I think we've been here before too. Like I think in some shape or other, like you know what I mean? It's the kind of, I feel like that energy, it's a cycle that we're into. And see, there's babies falling from the sky now. I take it you have a baby visiting.
Mhm.
Nice. But yeah, no. So, like, I think it's all cyclic, and I think this is the part of the cycle that we get to all the time. And yeah, we either mess it up really, really, really bad, or uh, we might, get out of the cycle. But for that, I think we need to do a lot of inner work as a species, not just as each people. Um, but we have a double edged sword that's there to help us, but that's also killing us at the same time, the internet.
Yeah.
Because we're gathering so much knowledge and it's spreading so fast, and at the same time it's destroying us.
Yeah.
Like it's uh it's the
I agree.
weirdest thing.
Things are so different now than when we were even in our 20s, because
Yeah,
we didn't have, I mean, computers were out, but we didn't have home computers, you know.
we're the few people that saw both. Right, we were young
Yeah,
enough when
true.
computers came out, but we were also we were long enough without computers to know
Mhm.
what that's like. uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a lot to be said about the no computer era.
And now, like, every home has a computer,
Yeah,
in
every pocket
of
has a
some way.
computer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, in some way, if you don't actually have a computer, you have a phone that's a computer. So, we all have
At any
access to the
moment,
internet,
at any
access to
moment,
the world.
you're surrounded by at least four screens at any time. Like that was a statistic at some point that I saw. Like it was either three or four, but like at any time, if you look around you, you're gonna find a whole bunch of screens. We're just so used to seeing them now. We used to have none. We had the TV. That was it. That was the only screen around.
And you had to get up to change the
Like
channel.
even the phone, it was like a big thing when the phone started having a screen. Remember?
When we were younger, I remember we had, what did they call it? Party lines.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like, we had a line with somebody else.
With a neighbor or like yeah,
Yeah. Or some
yeah,
people had like multiple homes on a line. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
if you wanted to make a call, I bet you, like, the kids today, parents don't think to talk about this to their kids. Like, go tell your kids this if you're our age and you remember this. Um about the party lines, and about how, like, if you wanted to make a phone call and Joe was down the street, was on the phone, you had to wait until he hung up. Or
Well,
you could
either that
just
or get on the
cover the
phone and go,
phone and listen to
Joe.
what he was saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like parents used to listen to what their kids were saying, or like there was the whole thing was, and I mean, if you wanted to know who was calling, you answered the phone. That was it. You couldn't know, like I don't know, but it was different, and I don't know that this is better, worse. It's not a question of that, but it is fast, and I think it's a double sided sword. Like everything we're doing right now, we have to be careful because the problem is not the technology we're coming up with. The problem is not, what speed we're going at. The problem is, I don't know that we're ready for that. I don't know that we can handle it because we're way too egocentric right now.
Ready or
We're
not.
just gonna, so we basically we're being given a massive amount of power to yield, but I don't know that we're ready to yield that much power because we're still all spread out and trying to go to war with each other. I thought we were done that crap. Like you guys are really trying to rekindle every war on the entire planet. By you
Look
guys, I
great,
don't mean.
especially in the forest
There you go.
as a young lad.
But yeah, but see, but that's the whole thing. Those are all the human. Uh, I don't know, like drama, if you will. But at the same time, regardless what happens with all that, if you wake up in the morning and you go in the forest and you talk to God or you talk to source or you do whatever, or you do ritual or you do, whatever, you go and you pick herbs and do little things and whatever it
Hmm.
is you do, right? Like none of that is going to change, right? Like whatever happens, like whatever country ends up being the most powerful country, whatever, who's president, who's, it doesn't change a single thing when I get out of my house and go to the forest, right? Like because between source and I and the energy that is and the all that, none of that really matters. It's the illusion. It's we we get out of the matrix, and it's like once we get out, we start thinking like, oh my god, the matrix should not exist anymore. Well, no, it's still there. There's still a whole bunch of people that are in it, and it still serves its purpose. You were done with that. They're not. It's okay. Just, pat them on the back and let them go. They have their learning to do. Um, but yeah, people become so like, oh my god, like as if it's not okay that not everybody's awake yet. And whether everybody is going to awaken, I don't know. I hope. I really hope. But we have to, there's a lot of work to be done. You know what I mean?
Not in our lifetime, I don't think it's going to be.
Well, see, everybody says that, but they say that based on the fact that we used to have three generations at a time. By the time we die, there's probably going to be seven. You know what I mean? Like things are moving fast.
I've been in the five generation twice.
What do you mean?
Um, so we've done pictures like when my first child was born, it was him. Let's start with my great grandma. It was my great grandma, first generation, my grandma, second generation, my mom, third generation, me, fourth, and my son, fifth.
Wow.
And then and so we took a picture like that. And then when his twins were born, we had another fifth generation because we had um my grandma, my my grandma was first generation, my mom second, me third, my son fourth, and his kids
And
fifth.
his kid's fifth.
And we took a picture, yeah, right before my grandma passed away. In fact,
How old are the kids though? You might be surprised because if I go just me and my two kids and go take pictures, there's three generations. That's how fast we're going through generations right
oh
now.
yeah,
So, because right now my son is Gen Z, my daughter is Alpha. It's like, oh, okay, what? Like I would have thought they'd be the same generation. They're like 3 years apart. But yeah, no, it's like, but that's what I mean, right? So where yes, you had five, but they were five like I don't know what to call it, like natural. You know what I mean? But now it's like the same kids from the same parents are different generations because things are moving that fast. Like we don't, I don't know how we define generation at this point, but
Now that you say that, I'll have to go and look up the years. And you know how I like to edit my pictures,
mhm.
addicted to editing pictures. I'll maybe go edit those pictures and write the different generations on the side of the picture. That would be
Yeah, that
cool.
could work. That could work.
That's a good idea. That's something I need to write myself a note to do.
So, how much of all of our troubles right now do you think have to do with the generations?
Which generation are we referring to?
I wasn't referring to one yet. All right, so are we?
I'm sure all have a bit to do with it.
So are we all in agreement that there's one generation that's worse than the others?
No,
Is that what's going on?
I do see a difference in the new generations though, because I see like I noticed this when the war started. That when the Ukraine Russia thing started,
Hmm.
that the Russians were coming on video and they were saying we don't want to fight, we don't want war. You know, the younger kids, like the teenage
Yeah,
boys and
yeah.
stuff, they would come and do interviews and stuff. And that's when it hit me and I was like, wow, like these people don't want to fight. Like it's just that man, uh what's his name, Putin,
Yeah, yeah.
um like his people don't want this. So you know it's a generation change.
Well, yeah, but that might be a big part of the problem. Like right now, the powers that be are part of the one generation that it's the very first generation. Okay, so obviously I'm talking about the baby boomers. It's the very first generation that did not concern themselves with making sure that their children would live better than they did. They bankrupted their own children and they're still in power. They're still holding on. I mean, they're turning to dust slowly in your Congress there.
Hmm.
But I mean, yeah, like look at like Pelosi, man. Like seriously, I think she's gonna break three bones just waking up, getting out of her bed. Like, I mean that you're done, lady.
Frank, you're gonna
It's
get
okay.
kicked off
Oh, that's
the
okay. I'm not even American, so that doesn't matter. That's like no, but I mean, like I'm not just talking about the US either. What I'm saying though is that we seem to have, a problem where like they are the most out of touch of all the generations, right? Because there's, at this point, four generations following them, but they're still the ones making all the decisions. Like that's a problem. That's a huge problem. They have no idea what's coming. They don't understand it, and yet they pretend they do. It's hilarious because they started it. They think that, you know, it's like if we said we understand what the internet is like because, we used to have AOL. You've
no.
got mail.
We used to have dial up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, uh, it's just, anyways, that's politics. That's human stuff. I don't, uh, I don't mingle too much in that. No, I don't go there either. No, I mean that in like, you know what I mean though? Let's say tomorrow morning, I don't know, through some weird thing, we all become Chinese. Well, I still go in the same forest, talk to the same, like I still, my spiritual life is not going to change based on who's
Well, I don't know.
president.
What if you become Chinese and the Canadian government ships you back to China? You won't go to the same forest.
Yes, I will. All I have to do is close my eyes. That's all I have
All
to
right,
ever do.
technically you won't be in the same forest, Frank.
I will be in any place in the universe that I want to be. All I have to do is close my eyes and go
Not
there.
everybody can do that.
Yes, everybody can do that. It's
Not
training.
everybody not everybody is trained to do that.
No, but they can train themselves. It's not hard. It just takes time and dedication and
There you go.
discipline.
There's
Discipline.
your word. I knew it was
Discipline.
coming.
And even at that, I don't even have a whole lot of discipline, and I still pulled through. So it can work for even the undisciplined. Uh, I was talking about making the bed. I mean, I started making my bed like a year and a half ago. I had never done my bed before that. I always thought like it's going to be undone at night. Why would I make it? Now I know it's because 30 seconds after you get up, you have now accomplished something. So your brain is giving you a little dose of dopamine. So now your day is going that little bit better. And you haven't even reached coffee yet. That's why it's a very practical uh, reason. But that discipline actually makes a difference. Well, we've had that conversation a few times about meditation, right? Where I said, for years, I meditated like on and off and on and off and on and off. And then at some point, because things were going well in my life and I guess the environment was right and whatever, I ended up meditating for months in a row every day. And it did make a difference. You know what I mean?
You prefer meditation in quiet, in music, or guided?
I haven't done too many guided meditation, like not as a, usually I do breathing meditation. It's either I do ritual or like sitting breathing meditation, like
Have
full
you
hold
taken
breath.
classes for breath work?
No, no. I did go to meditation classes before, like long time ago. I went to Buddhist centers. I went to all kinds of different places, but um, not for a long time, anyways. But yeah, I just learned breathing meditation is the one that worked best for me. Uh, it really just, I don't know, it quiets my mind. Well, it doesn't quiet it. I don't know how to describe what it does. Like for me, it's like the thoughts don't fully go away. They still exist. You're just paying no mind to them. Like you're just letting them flow and they exist. And the fact of being able to do that, because I'm ADHD, it's helped me a lot handle my thoughts on an everyday basis too, because I'm always thinking a million miles a minute. And so I used to try to hold on to those thoughts. And that was very tiring because there's a lot of thoughts going through.
Hmm.
And because in meditation, I learned to see the thought and just let it go. Well, I kind of learned to do that with my thoughts on an everyday basis. If I'm not looking for information, like just don't, yeah, that's cool. Thanks. Okay, keep going. And so I kind of created in my head, like I imagine it as a highway of thoughts, if you will.
Hmm.
And I sort of freed it. I said, okay, if I don't need an idea, just let it flow. Just let it, whatever. Don't even pay attention to it. Just let the
So
thoughts happen.
there's never been any highway accidents.
Oh, yeah, plenty. Plenty. It doesn't always work.
So is
Uh,
that like a bubble moment, or what would that be?
uh, well, it's just if I try to hold on to the thoughts, anytime I try to hold on to thoughts too much, then
Okay.
even as worse, like I used to get like super ideas, right? And so I'd write them. And then I had a million little papers everywhere in my house with ideas. And I never went back to the ideas. And then somebody pointed out at some point, they said, no, the thing is, you always have a million ideas. So once you need one, you're not going to look for a little paper in your house. You're going to come up with one. And so those little papers, they'll never be useful because anytime you need an idea, you're going to have an equally as good one. And I was like, okay. And then I realized every time I tried to hold on to thoughts, I was creating clutter the same way as I was in my house when I was writing them down on paper. But I was doing that in my head by trying to hold on, to grab on to all the thoughts and to go like even in conversation, something ADHD does. If somebody's talking and I want to say something, I start getting anxious because I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. Well, I started allowing myself to forget what I'm going to say because really, who cares? I'll have something else to say.
Yes, that's true. I can attest to that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll just, okay, whatever.
We both
So,
will.
yeah, but that anxiety that builds from, oh my God, I want to say it. I want to say it. It's like, no, okay, it's okay if I don't get to say it. Let's just listen now. That's tough. That's tough for me. But it's, something I choose to try to do. Um, I don't know how successful I am.
Well, if it works for you, then it works. It's successful.
Yeah, true enough. True enough.
And that's the thing about when thoughts pop into your head while you're doing meditation, you're supposed to let them run like the highway. I've never heard it explained that way. But you should just, acknowledge them and not try to not think. Because the more you try to not think, the more thoughts are going to come into your mind. So it's best to just acknowledge them and release them and then continue with your meditation. Don't let it stop you from meditating. Don't don't think that you can't meditate because you have thoughts popping into your mind. This is a normal thing for all of us. We
It's
all
like
have it.
the good old example. Whatever you do, do not think of a white bear. Everybody just thought of a white bear.
A white bear.
But the point is, everybody just thought of a white bear
Yes.
because I said don't think of a white bear. So anytime you say don't think the thought, you're focused on the thought. It's not going away. You're focusing on it. Where instead you say, "Oh, I got to do dishes." Oh, wait up. No, no, not right now. I'm meditating. Thank you. Later. Let it go. And then another comes and another and another. And I mean, of course, you're going to have thousands. It's not about not having any, it's about building the ability of not listening to them and letting them go. And then one day, all of a sudden, you're sitting in meditation and your mind goes blank. And the very first thing you do is go, oh my God, I didn't have a thing. Oh, crap. I just thought. And it could be a little while before it happens again. I love it. It's so like sneaky that way. Because the minute it happens, right, like you think about it and you go, whoa, oh, come on. Anyways, that's how it was for me. Like, but it comes like you eventually get those blank moments, and then it becomes easier to blank the mind.
Yeah, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be to release them and then the less they're going to come.
Yeah, yeah, they just don't bug you anymore. I don't even. That's the whole thing. Like sometimes if I'm in meditation, like I mean, I guess I do know, but in some way, like it's like I don't even know if they come because I just don't like. I don't care. There's even I went to one temple one time where they did meditation with their eyes half open, and it was really interesting. It let in just enough visual information to kind of keep your brain on it, but not enough that you were fully immersed in it. Uh,
We've done that already in circle in certain exercises when we practice automatic writing.
yeah,
We've
that's true
done
enough, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it's kind of a different like you're focused, but you're not, right? Like it manages to keep you in that sort of like in between place or something. Like it's some people do it focusing on a candle too. That's another way that
Yeah, we've done that too.
that's another way that works.
We've done candles, we've done crystals.
That's true.
Just like, people think crystal balls are where is my crystal ball? people think crystal balls, like somebody came and asked me if like something was just gonna appear in my crystal ball, like a TV, like a picture just appear. No, we use this as just like you would use fire or anything else. We can use it as meditation and just meditate into it and look into it, and the story comes in our mind, not in a picture. I mean, some people may see a picture in their mind, but not all.
Hmm. I've never been able to learn how to. I wanted to when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but like in my 20s or early 20s, whatever. But then I kind of gave up on the idea because of the cost of the ball, because
Yeah,
I
my
don't have
husband
money.
bought this crystal ball for me for Mother's Day 2 years ago, and I want to say it was like $200.
Yeah, they're very.
And that's wholesale because I have wholesale. But
Mhm.
I've it's more for decoration because I've used it twice.
Really. I favor the tarot. You know what? Like I have like Yi King
Yeah, if I use a
coins.
tool,
I
I'm
have
I'm
like
more than likely I'm using tarot. Um,
yeah. I
I
tried
have used it,
runes.
but it's just not something that I use often. It's more for show, I guess.
Yeah, the tarot is really the one thing that works the most for me. Everything else, I'm like, eh. Like when I see people doing tea and doing like all these things, and I'm like, I don't get it. Well, I don't know. It's at the same time I say that I use the tarot. I don't even use the tarot that much, and most of what I get, I just get from intuition, anyways. Like I don't really.
You just know, you just don't know how you know.
That's about it. Yeah, it's more like that than anything else. Because
Hmm.
even
Hi,
like the tarot,
Pamela.
I'll pull one card, and from that, I'll be like, okay, good. Like that's all I need. I don't know. It's because it just gives me a sense of direction. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, okay,
Hmm.
where should I go today? Oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, the tower. All right, careful.
Do you pull tarot for yourself?
I don't do full out reads. That's what I mean. Like I'll do very small reads, like 3 card reads or 1 card read, or like just really quickly. Like I only pull for myself mostly. Like that's the only reason I do it, was just to uh, get a sense of direction before. I don't need it as much anymore, because now it's like a lot of it is through just intuition. Um, but Pamela says hi. Hi, Pam.
I think we have a delay because I told Pam hi like 3 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
I bet you the chat has a delay.
Oh, weird. That's quite possible.
But for tarot,
Hmm.
I like pulling tarot no matter what, just because I get, come to think of it, we were talking about like doubting yourself, and I was telling that I don't really doubt myself, and now thinking about it, no, I don't. You know why? Because if I do, I'm gonna pull a tarot. Duh, that's why I don't doubt myself because I have a
Yeah,
backup.
yeah, that's true.
I didn't think of it that way.
Well, because you have a reliable way to. It's because you're like, okay, this will tell me. That's it, right? And that's the good part, is that it will too. Like if you're receptive to it. And I mean, it could be the tarot, it could be anything. You could be pulling like, pickup sticks, and it could still work as long as you have a system that, covers everything, if you will. And so, yeah, it really, it's all about your intuition, and the tarot is just the tool. So whatever way works is whatever way works. Like some people it's runes, some people it's the Yi King. Again, my brother is
I've
into
never
the Yi
used
King.
runes. That's one thing I've never used. I've used tarot. I've used the crystal ball. I've used um tuning forks, and I've used dowsing rods, oracle cards,
Pendulums,
pendulum,
Ouija
um,
boards.
Ouija board, um, automatic writing. But I've never used ruins,
Runes.
runes. I've seen them. I just never.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. They're but yeah, same
I'm
here. I
sure it's gonna be on my list of things to do.
I tried to learn them. I it didn't stick with me. It didn't. It wasn't the same as like tarots have so many colors, so much. Like I don't know. Like well, I guess I just played with them more. That's probably all it is. Sometimes it's just about which one were you shown first to,
Hmm.
right? That's you get used to one thing, and well, that's the one now. So mm,
I think we also doubt ourselves on many topics because that thought gets implanted in our thoughts from letting too much of the internet and articles on there into
our heads.
our heads.
So the doubt gets implanted is what I'm understanding here. Like the actual we doubt ourselves because yeah, we doubt ourselves because a lot of our thoughts are not our own thoughts. Like in that respect, yes, that's the well. It's funny because being on the somewhere on the spectrum, um, I think it's actually something that neurotypicals have as a whole. Um, we're we're excessively programmed
Hmm.
humans, like to a level that is insane. Like the amount of stuff that people do on automatic, and if you learn to see it, if you can look for it, you'll see it. And this is how people like this. It's a dangerous thing because this is how people that are manipulative and whatever. This is how they know how to trigger people, right? Because they look for those patterns. They look for the because if you look at people, everybody, most people are running on self pilot. They're not thinking about what they're doing. They're just doing it. They're just going about their day, doing what they know to do, what they've always been taught to do, what they've never questioned. Like they just go about their programming. And, people that come out of the matrix, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, well, that's what happens. All of a sudden, they realize that the programming ain't working no more. And they go, well, something's not working. Like, why is this not working? This is the way I was shown. So this has got to be the right way. Why isn't it working? Well, because no, it wasn't.
Hmm.
Right? None of us were shown the right way because the right way is our way. Gen X might have been key on that one because they shoved us outside and said, go raise yourself. And we did. Right. And because of that, we kind of we're the first generation that actually goes, oh wait a minute, this is what I like. We looked at ourselves. Now, is that also what's responsible for the self-centeredness that we experience now? I don't know, but something different happened there, right? Like that whole automatic programming that was handed down kind of broke a little bit with us, and then we also had the internet and everything went crazy. And now it's like, wow, everything is coming apart. To get eyes on their web pages, I have to come up with an article. Trying to understand, people have to come up with articles to get eyes on their web page. Oh, because constantly having to come up with stuff like it's becoming crazy. Well, no, now we're not even going to have to come up with stuff because Chat GPT is going to come up with stuff for us. Like this is getting what's coming up is going to be just completely insane. Like you think we don't know if information is valid or like at this point. Imagine after like half of it has been created by Chat GPT. we're going to be like, what's real, what's not, what's like, what's is anything still human, is anything, it's going to be it's going to take a turn really fast. It should be
I agree.
interesting. But I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to force us to take a look at ourselves, and that's never a bad thing. It's never a fun thing at first, but it's okay. We can do it. I think humans are pretty strong. We're a good bunch.
Okay, guys, looks like we have a bunch of you in here tonight. We've had a large crowd throughout the night. Any
Indeed.
questions? Please leave them in the chat. Any topics you would like to be discussed, leave it in the chat. Um, we'd love to hear from our viewers.
Ha! There's a topic. Humility. I don't know. It was one of the ones on ChatGPT, and I'm like, spiritual practice for cultivating humility,
Thanks
and
for
why would
joining the
that be
live,
good?
guys. Please like and share and interact with us in the comments. Any questions on spirituality or um pretty much anything? I think we're pretty much open, huh, Frank?
I don't know. Mostly spirituality. Um, don't ask me about my socks. I don't even know what color they are. Um, I think but we have a bunch of people. Okay, so let's come up with a new topic. Somebody come up with a topic for us. All right. Inventor.
We had a wheel once upon a time.
Oh, here's a fun
I
one.
watched a show a few weeks ago and they had a Microsoft person on showing how AI worked. They also showed how AI got things wrong.
Yes, it's getting a lot of things wrong. It's that's a problem that we're finding out with it. So everybody's going like, "Yay, I can rely on Chat GPT to give me all the answers." No, it's giving wrong answers. It's not giving all the right answers, and we're not too sure why. Well, probably because it's fetching its information off the internet. I mean, the other thing too that we noticed is immediately it starts being leftist, like immediately,
It was 60 minutes or
or
2020.
2020. Yeah,
What does
they're
that
both
mean?
very good shows. They're both shows.
Oh,
They're well, they're good and they're on and off, but they do some interesting journalism.
I don't really watch TV, so I don't know.
But
I've heard of that though. Don't one of them go
uh,
before they air?
oh, it has the clock
It's like
there.
yeah,
Yeah, 60 minutes. 60 minutes is the one
yeah.
that has that. Yeah, they're not bad. Like they'll do stuff like well, here's one they did, right? They wanted to check like a lawyer, like to check family court how things were. If it was true that it was more woman, it was more man, or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And so the woman, she went to, I think it was four lawyers, and she pretended that she wanted to divorce her husband, but in good terms, like everything was okay and whatever, because they had heard that lawyers were taking the lead versus trying to serve their clients. And what ended up happening is that some one of the lawyers in particular, if I recall, like that was many years ago, but one of the lawyers in particular was immediately was like, "Oh, no, no, but it's okay. If you want the house, here's what we do: you call the police, you tell them he hit you, and then I'll get you your house." And they were like, "Oh my god!" Like, like, but I don't remember. I mean, my memory. and it was years ago, but it was, yeah, it was really bad. But they do that, or they'll do mechanics or dentist. They did dentist. That was insane. They had their dentist check the guy, and then they went to see four or five again different dentists, and each dentist was saying that the guy needed different work. And then they
Oh
went
gosh.
back to their dentist and they were like, okay, what the hell? And he was like, okay, well, this I could see, like, I get, all right, sure. This, no, not a chance. That guy doesn't need this or whatever. And it was like, yeah, like most of the dentists were totally trying to add
Rip
work that
off
he didn't
people.
need. And oh yeah, it's a really, really bad field. There's a lot of that going on. So yeah. So they
Yeah, I
do.
can see that.
It's a good show for that. They. But anyways, um,
They should pick up one on the people that are trying to film inside post offices lately.
what is that about?
I, I think it's just to make trouble myself. Like they go with they start filming and then the security guards like you can't film in certain areas. You can film
Okay,
only in the hallways or in the waiting room. Can't film behind certain areas because we have classified information, whatever. And they like this is my right and blah blah blah, and then they have to be escorted out. They
those are
call the
just like,
cops and they want the cops to tell them their rights because they want to like prove somebody wrong, and it's like just wasting people's time
yeah, I've seen that.
when
They're
they
just
have
doing
more
it for
important things to
views.
do.
They're doing it for views. That's all. They're just, yeah. You see a lot of that, or people that they get pulled over by the cops and they're being so difficult with the
Hmm.
guy. You're like, okay, like really, dude? I
Hmm.
mean, if I was like, Sister Mary, I'd probably be Billy batting you to death at this point. Like, you're being an idiot. I mean, there was one guy. What was it again? The cop shows up at the window and he says, what is he? Something like, I think he identified himself or something. Like, as the cop pulls up, he goes like, Bob Marley, and and his window is cracked open by this much, right? And then the cop is like, open your window, and he cracks his window a little more, and he says, okay, what's your name? And he says, I've already told you, I don't have to identify myself twice. And the cop's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I told you just before. I mean, the window was cracked and I told you my name. I'm scared now. What are you? What is it? And it's like, oh, come on, you're scared now. And like, so you kind of go, okay, like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, come on. This is
Making
ridiculous.
trouble. It's like they wanna, what's the word? Push their buttons. But I'm thinking of the fancier word.
They're trying to entrap, like
Intimidate. Yeah, and yeah,
they're trying to get
it's
the cop
ridiculous.
to do stupid stuff. And then,
It is
and I mean,
ridiculous.
push anybody long enough and they're eventually going to do something
Exactly.
stupid. So it's like, come on. Like, but that's just the day and age that we're living in. It's insane, man. That's again all the whole social media and whatever. The only thing that gives me hope is I know there's a whole trend with I don't know if it's happening anymore, but for a while it was anyways, with millennials, where they were getting dumb phones, phones that don't have the internet and a browser and this and that. It has text, it has phone, that's it, right? And the reason they were doing this is because, yeah, they become slaves to all the notifications that go off all day. They become like, and so they want to be free from the internet because they were born with it, right? So they
Hmm.
don't know it's like they don't know that it's a thing, right? Like it's part of their life and
Hmm.
they want to be cut off from it at some point. It's a desire that is happening. So I guess it might give us hope. Maybe, they'll come disconnected a little bit. Or they'll enter VR and, you know, we'll be
Either
watching
way,
like people with headsets everywhere going like, "Oh my god." uh, but yeah, it's pretty
all right. Well, it looks like we're winding down. We're over an hour out. Let's see.
yeah.
Yes, some people are getting those phones. What phones?
Uh, Okay, wait.
What is she talking about?
Did they were using the was talking about the dumb phones.
Oh, over my
I was
head.
reading the one before about the American rights there.
All right,
But
guys.
yes, the dumb phones are they're getting popular because of that. It frees you from having all that crap.
Let us say thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
We will be back live 1 week from tonight at 7 Central. And we appreciate you interacting with us. What Frank said. What is she talking about?
Uh, yes, about the phones.
Oh, okay.
Just
We
whatever I say. No. it all it's
let's
all
share.
good.
There's Pam for y'all. Oh, by the way, did I tell you we're almost finished? Pam's. We took the course. We're almost finished, and it is
Nice.
amazing.
Nice. That's
So, if
true.
anyone's interested in grief therapy, you can give Pam a call. That's her
Maybe you
information there.
maybe you guys can do a second interview where she interviews you to see how it went.
Yes, that would be
That
great.
could be fun.
Yes, if she's willing, we can surely do that. Let's see. All right. So, guys, thanks for joining us, and have a good weekend.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Lots of
Love
love.
and light.